We've covered the Slytherin house. We've covered all the different houses. We're going further into depth on another house on Wednesday, so definitely follow me on Kick for that. Definitely subscribe for videos on that. But today, we're going to be going over what happened to every Harry Potter character after the series. Okay, so this is MovieFlame on YouTube. Definitely subscribe to them. I'm definitely going to have their videos linked in the description of my videos on YouTube. While you're there watching my video, definitely subscribe, because most of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. It's like a 70-30 split, apparently, according to YouTube. So, you know, if you're watching my video, maybe make sure that you hit the subscribe button, right? Like, let's get that over with. I just hit the new milestone of like 3,000 views on the channel, so that's super cool, and I'm really happy about that. We're up to like 20 subscribers now, which is a far cry higher than what we were at whenever we started this year out. So like I said, 2026 is going to be our year. Definitely subscribe if you're watching my videos. Alright, anyway, so this is what happened to every Harry Potter character after the series ended. There are 90 characters apparently, so we're gonna go ahead and get started.
The Harry Potter novels cover 7 years' time, and in that time it caught the attention of millions of readers. But what happened after that 7th year? We got a little taste of what life after Hogwarts was like in the epilogue, but that just barely scratches the surface of what we know.
Yes.
Rowling has released tons of information about so many different characters, and in this video I'm going to go over what happened to 90 main Harry Potter characters after the series ended. Harry Potter.
Alright, starting with Harry. As far as I know, he had a couple of kids with Jenny, right?
As we know from the epilogue, Harry married Ginny, and together they had 3 kids, Albus,
okay, they have 3 kids, okay.
James, and Lily. But going past the epilogue, Rowling revealed much more about the hero of our story. He did not return to Hogwarts for a 7th year, instead becoming an Auror, or a dark wizard catcher.
Albus, James, and Lily. I don't feel like Jenny got a single like say in the names of her children.
The job he always dreamed of doing while at Hogwarts. He eventually became head of the Auror office at the age of only 26, becoming the youngest head.
Oh shit, head of the office. Oh shit. So if you guys that don't know an Auror, if you look it up, it's gonna describe it as like magical special forces. That's not really what they are. They're just like magic cops, basically.
Of a department in history. He also returned to Hogwarts every once in a while to give lectures to students about defense against the dark arts, much like he did when he ran the DA. On top of that, he was featured on
Dumbledore's army.
A chocolate frog card for all he had done, which only the most famous and celebrated witches and wizards have the honor of.
Oh shit.
Ron Weasley.
Oh damn, so that chocolate frog thing where it has like the card that has like various different witches and wizards that you see in like the very first movie of Harry Potter. Harry ended up getting his picture and name like on a card like that. That's fucking awesome, because like he's up there with the Dumbledores and Merlins of the world, right? Because apparently Merlin was in Harry Potter. He was a Slytherin, by the way. Definitely check out my video for that. I don't know if it's come out yet, but it will by the time this video comes out.
Weasley. As we know from the epilogue, Ron married Hermione, and together they had 2 kids, Rose and Hugo. He was also made the godfather of Harry and Ginny's oldest son, James. Going past the epilogue though, like Harry, Ron opted to skip his 7th year at Hogwarts, and he too became an Auror at the Ministry of Magic.
Okay, yeah, so they just skipped their last year. You know, that's fair, because with all the crap that they went through, what else could they really learn at Hogwarts? Like, they're done learning. They're just going to go out and do their thing.
However, after 2 years of this, he retired and instead helped his brother George run his joke shop.
Yeah, because Fred ended up dying in the war, and it was a whole thing.
As Ron stated though, his finest hour was being put on a chocolate frog card just like Harry.
Oh, hell yeah. Good. Fucking giving respect for the Weasleys, baby.
Hermione Granger.
Also
as I
Weasley.
said, Hermione married Ron and they had 2 children named Rose and Hugo. After the Battle of Hogwarts, Hermione found her parents
Hugo is a stupid name.
in Australia and restored their memories, giving her
Oh, cool. So she did give her the memories back to her parents. That's so nice.
parents back. Unlike Harry and Ron, Hermione actually went back to Hogwarts to finish her 7th and final year, and afterwards she started working for the Ministry of Magic. She worked her way up.
Okay, is there a job where you don't work for the Ministry of Magic? Because, like, as far as I know, at least in London anyway, if you're a wizard, you work for the Ministry, and that's it. That's it. Or you run your own shop.
up, starting with the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures, where she continued her work with Spew, fighting for house elf rights. She later became the deputy head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement, where she assisted the ministry in eradicating the old laws biased in favor of purebloods, which was a game changer. Eventually, Hermione herself would become Minister of Magic, though this happened in the
Oh, damn. I didn't realize that Hermione would become Minister of Magic. That's fucking awesome, dude. She would make a great minister.
Cursed Child, so I would take that with a grain of salt. Hermione also
Okay, all right. So apparently we don't talk about the Cursed Child. Okay, all right. I'm with you. Okay, sure.
Translated her copy of the.
I refuse to hate J.K. Rowling for the shit that she stands up for, but hey, if we don't like that particular published work, then why not?
Tales of Beetle the Bard, the book Dumbledore had left her, which was originally written in runes, and she published it with all of Dumbledore's notes on every page. Because of all of her accomplishments, she joined both Harry and Ron in
Damn right she did. Everybody gets a chocolate frog up in this bitch, okay?
getting her own chocolate frog card. Ginny Weasley.
I swear to God, if Ginny gets a chocolate frog, I'm gonna be so pissed off. After the Battle of Hogwarts, Ginny rekindled her relationship with That wasn't even a kiss. That was fake. I saw that. You guys can't trick me with that.
Harry, and the two eventually got married. Ginny also pursued a career as a professional Quidditch player, and she played for the Holyhead Harpies. She retired when she and Harry won.
Oh, she was a professional Quidditch player, and he's the head of the Auror office in the Ministry of Magic. Bro, these are Nepo babies on God, alright?
Wanted to start a family though, and as I already stated, they had 3 kids named James, Albus, and Lily.
She's an Olympic athlete, and he's like the most famous fucking person in the world, okay? So, come on now. He's also already rich, by the way. Harry was born rich because of the Potter family. He became like a wizard millionaire when he was 11.
When the kids got a bit older,
and then bought the entire Sweets card.
Ginny started a new career as a Quidditch correspondent for the Daily Prophet, and she made a huge name for herself in this.
Okay, so they're still completely famous. These kids will never know hardship.
Field when she covered the 2014 Quidditch season, which ended in her covering that year's World Cup. Neville Longbottom. Following Neville,
I would be okay with Neville getting his own card.
Neville's badass.
His own little chocolate frog card. That'd be fucking awesome. Not many people know this, but so whenever whenever Voldemort was told about the prophecy, he said that there were 2 people that the prophecy could be referring to. They could either be referring to Harry Potter, who was Lily and James's son, or they could be referring to Neville Longbottom, who was well, I forgot the name of his parents, but anyway, or Neville. The only reason that Harry was the chosen one and not Neville is because Voldemort decided to go to Harry's house instead first.
Last part in the Battle of Hogwarts, he became an Auror following the war.
Yes,
however,
he did. Fuck yeah, he did. I don't know why he didn't go into herbology. That was like his whole thing.
He only did this for a short time, instead pursuing his real passion of herbology. McGonagall
Yeah, I think a lot of them are going to end up going Auror, right? Like immediately, just knee-jerk reaction because they've just been fighting against the dark arts. But yeah, no, he's definitely a herbologist, man. He might even become a teacher here, kind of like Shino in Boruto.
Accepted his application to teach at Hogwarts, and Neville joined the herbology.
Oh, I'm so good at this, man. Oh my god, hell yeah. Definitely subscribe. I swear to God, I did not watch this prior to this.
Department, working under his favorite professor at Hogwarts, Professor Sprout.
Hey,
he would sometimes
didn't he faint in her class like the first day?
impress his students by showing off his DA coin, which had become something of a badge of honor. Neville eventually became the head of Gryffindor House, which is fitting because he's one of the bravest Gryffindors who ever lived, even if he didn't start out that way. Unfortunately for Nuna fans,
no, he was always that way. He decided he wanted to. He would fight Harry, Ron, and Hermione, right? He said, "No, I won't let you do it. I'll fight you."
The two never actually dated. That was just
it's bullshit. I'm pretty sure. I was under the impression that Neville and Luna ended up getting together, but I don't think they actually did, right?
Something the filmmakers came up with. Neville actually ended up with a Hufflepuff student that was in their year who was also a fellow DA member named Hannah Abbott.
Oh, cool.
The two lived at the Leaky
Did we ever see her?
Cauldron, where Hannah was the landlady. The two had a happy life together.
Oh, so she owned the Leaky Cauldron, and he was a teacher at Hogwarts. Dude, cool.
But never had kids. Although Neville was made the godfather of Harry and Ginny's middle child, Albus Potter. Luna.
I like how the kids are like Harry and Ginny have 3 kids, and so far we know of two different godfathers. So if something ever happens to them, the kids are going to get split up because these two are going to go live with, this person's going to go live with that guy, and this one's going to go live with that other guy.
Lovegood. Follow.
Because, like, Ron is only the godfather of the oldest son, and then Neville is the godfather of the second oldest kid, and so I'm wondering who the godfather of the girl's going to be. And I want to know, like, how split up are these kids going to get whenever Harry and Ginny die?
Following the series, Luna became a famous wizarding naturalist who traveled the world in search of strange creatures. She discovered and classified many species that no one had ever seen before.
That's fucking badass. Dude, that's cool. I didn't realize that Luna would do that.
But she was never able to find the Crumplehorn Snorkack, a made-up creature that her and her father were convinced existed.
Did she ever find the Nargles?
Luna ended up marrying fellow naturalist Ralph Scamander, the grandson of Newt Scamander.
Hey! Our boy Newt! His grandson, though. I wonder who did he get with?
The man behind the textbook Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and of course the star of the prequel films.
Hello.
Luna and Ralph eventually had twin boys named Lorcan and Lysander, but they were much younger than the trio's kids, as Luna did not start her family until much later in life.
Fair.
Albus Dumbledore. Yes, I know, Albus died, but there are some notable things to go over after the series ended.
There is a credible theory that Albus Dumbledore is death. I don't believe that theory, but he was in the train station.
Decided to name his second son Albus after his former headmaster, which
bullshit. That man raised you to die, Harry.
Shows how much Harry respected his mentor.
Bullshit.
Dumbledore's portrait lived on in the headmaster's office, and his portrait was known to speak wise words to students who entered. In The Cursed Child, which again I would take with a grain of salt, Harry and Dumbledore's portrait had a conversation where they told each other that they loved each other, one of the few good moments in the stage play.
Alright.
Severus Snape. Yes, I know, Snape also died, but he too had some notable points to go over after the series ended. Harry's middle child was also named after Snape, as he gave Albus the middle name Severus. Snape's portrait was not automatically hung in the headmaster's office despite him being a headmaster for a year, but Harry, in one of his acts of showing reconciliation to Snape, made sure that his portrait was placed there. Harry also cleared Snape's name, telling everyone how brave he had been and how he had been on their side the whole time.
Yeah, even though Harry was like the biggest person to be against him.
Voldemort. Another dead character, but again some things to go over.
Yeah.
After the series ended, Rowling told fans the horrid ending Voldemort had upon being killed. Because he had split his soul so many times, and as Rowling described it, mutilated his soul was trapped in limbo for eternity. Because of the destruction done to it, he was unable to move on or return to the land of the...
That is just gross, right? Like, somebody abort that thing.
Living as a
I'm so sorry.
ghost. The man who feared death
Although I'm just saying, maybe if Voldemort's mom had done that, I mean,
more than anything got a fate far more horrific than death. Also, after he was gone, everyone who had once feared to speak his name now felt no fear in doing so. Draco Malfoy.
Yeah, okay.
After seeing everything his family had believed in crumble, Draco became a...
Draco, as far as I know, he married, I don't know, some other pureblood lady, but he ended up, like, going away from his father's mindset of, like, it being pureblood or nothing. He stopped being fucking racist, but he did marry another pureblood.
a changed man. He and Harry made peace following the Battle of Hogwarts.
Damn right they did, and I hope they're friends, because Draco wanted to be friends with him for so long.
Though they were never really friends. As we found out from the epilogue, Draco married Astoria Greengrass, who was actually the younger sister of a Slytherin girl in his year named Daphne Greengrass. They
I wonder what Draco was doing for the Ministry, because I bet he was part of it.
eventually had a son named Scorpius, and they raised him very differently than Draco was raised. Scorpius was taught that Muggles and Muggleborns should be respected, which did not sit well with Draco's parents, Lucius and Narcissa.
Well, fuck both of them.
This led to some awkward family gatherings filled with tension. Following their death though, Draco inherited Malfoy Manor and all of his family's wealth. Unfortunately, that money and wealth did not help when Astoria got sick and passed away when Scorpius was only in his third year at Hogwarts.
Damn, that sucks. So he's in third year, he's 11, 12, 13, he's 13 years old, and he died. Damn.
Leaving Draco to raise his son as an only father. Kingsley Shacklebolt. Following the war, Kingsley was made the Minister of Magic, and he made it his duty to rid the Ministry of corruption and discrimination.
Magic is might. I don't feel like that should be the current motto of the Ministry.
He also banned the use of Dementors to guard Azkaban and made sure that they would not
I don't understand why. That was actually a pretty good idea. That does not make any sense to me. Definitely have dogs at the gates.
Not be used to torment the opponents of the ministry any longer.
Why? Fuck them. Fuck the opponents of the ministry, man.
Kingsley revolutionized the way the ministry worked, especially with the help of Hermione Granger, who would of course take his place as Minister of Magic when Kingsley stepped down. Dudley Dursley. Last we saw Dudley, he was making amends with his cousin Harry.
I don't think you're a waste of...
See you, Big D. Hell yeah, man. He's the only one there that said, listen, my parents are assholes, and I realize that, and I'm sorry for the way that you were treated.
Space.
Thanks.
Following that, we found out that he got married and became a father of 2. He and Harry remained on Christmas card terms, and they got their families together every once in a while, something that Harry's kids dreaded. During these...
Oh, why? I bet Harry looks forward to going and seeing Dudley every year, man. Like, for them being able to reconnect like that, I would pay to see a movie like that, man. I would pay to see a movie that had a scene where Harry and his kids and like Jenny went over to Big D's house to see his kids and maybe his wife, right? Because I bet he's not as much of an asshole as his fucking parents were.
Visits, Dudley and Harry sat silently together, rarely talking while their kids interacted and played together. And before you comment saying I missed the fact that Dudley married Cho Chang...
Wait, hold on, what? There's no way.
This never happened.
Oh my god. Woo. Okay, I don't know if you guys probably don't know this, but if I had to pick somebody from the Harry Potter series for Harry to have been with, I would choose Cho. I think that, at least for the movies anyway, it was incredibly forced for him to be with Jenny. So this got me, all right? Oh boy, I'm so glad that it's not real, because damn. Anyway, I ship Cho and Dudley. J.K. Rowling said that she married a muggle. My headcanon is that it was Dudley Dursley and that she didn't even know he was Harry's cousin until they did. Okay, so she married a muggle. Cool.
That was just a fan theory that for some reason so many people online
Nah, it was definitely somebody in the Chinese government, for sure.
believe. Petunia Dursley.
CCP gotta get their hands in them Hogwarts business, you know?
As I just mentioned, Dudley had 2 kids, which made Petunia a grandmother.
Yay.
Petunia passed away around the year 2020, meaning
Oh no, way too soon.
she was only about 60 years old, so she died pretty young. I actually
Oh no, she left us too soon and stuff.
posted a theory I had on Twitter that she died because of the pandemic, which many of you agreed on, but obviously that's not canon. Petunia actually had a bit of a redemption, as we found out she kept the blanket Harry was wrapped in when he arrived at their doorstep, and when she died, she left the blanket to him in her will.
I don't know why she ever kept that. Now, I do understand that, like, they were meant to be terrible people, but I read somewhere that because Harry is a Horcrux and because they were within the general vicinity of a Horcrux for so long that they were just corrupted, like their soul was corrupted, and they just become more and more and more terrible the more time they spent around Harry. So the fact that they treated him terribly was only really partially their fault, and mostly Harry's fault, because he brought out all the worst things in them, given that he is a Horcrux and was corrupting them by being near them.
Vernon Dursley. Vernon also became a grandfather to his son Dudley's 2 kids. He did not die early like Petunia did, meaning he was a widow. Unlike Dudley and Petunia, Vernon never made amends with his nephew Harry and had no sort of
Vernon hated wizards, according to the book, like just in general.
redemption arc in the end. George Weasley. Following the battle that took his twin brother from him, George never truly got over Fred's death. He did, however, start dating and eventually married Fred's ex-girlfriend, Angelina Johnson. Together they had 2 kids, a daughter named Roxanne and a son named Fred, who was named after his deceased.
So I don't know if you guys remember who she is, but in the movies anyway, in the Goblet of Fire, whenever Fred was like, whenever he was teasing Ron about not having a date, Ron was like, well, who do you have a date with? And so Fred crumbles up like a piece of paper and throws it at some chick that's down the table, and that happens to be Angelina Johnson. He's like, will you go to the ball with me? And she's like, yeah, oh my god, yeah, I'll go to the ball with you, absolutely. Oh my god, you just hit me with a piece of paper, you're clearly in charge. Oh my god, yes, Fred. Okay, anyway, so yeah, apparently after he died, George swooped in and got up in that Fred girlfriend puss. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? And they had some little half-breed ginger black babies. Cool.
Uncle. George continued to run the joke shop that he and Fred had created, and Weasley's Wizard Wheezes saw great success following.
Dude, I bet it did, man. This is like the Mr. Emporium's Wonder, like Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium type thing, right? Like,
in the war.
This is fucking cool.
The shop's puking pastels became considered contraband in most work environments in the magical community, and hilariously, George became known as the bane to many professors' existence. George was also well beloved by students from various wizarding schools all around the world thanks to their mailing service.
They have a mailing service? What?
Percy Weasley. After making amends with his family, Percy
Wait, amends with what happened? Oh, because he was with the ministry? Is that why did he have to make amends?
was welcomed back with open arms, something the entire family needed after the passing of Fred. Percy rejoined the ministry after Kingsley.
Yeah, because he was working with Cornelius Fudge to take out Harry and Dumbledore. Whenever he was saying, no, Voldemort wasn't back. He was actively... Let me put it this way. Percy was actively helping Umbridge. How does that make you feel? Okay?
became minister.
I don't know. Look, if I'm the Weasley family, I don't know. All right? I don't know.
And he became the head of the Department of Magical Transportation. He eventually went on to marry a woman named Audrey, and together they had 2 daughters named Molly, who was named after her grandmother, and Lucy. Arthur Weasley. After leaving the ministry and going on the run with the rest of his family, Arthur and the rest of the Weasleys returned to their home at the Burrow, and under the new leadership of Minister Shacklebolt, Arthur rejoined the ministry, returning to his original post as the head of the Misuse of Muggle Artifacts Office.
The head? Interesting. Wait, misuse of Muggle artifacts? What?
Arthur being thrilled to work with Muggles again. Later on, though, he was promoted to a huge position as the head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. Arthur also became a grandfather to all of his kids' children.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, so that's 3, definitely 4, 5, 6 grandchildren. Hell yeah, dude. His family's just getting so big.
Who I'll go over in our next character section on this list. Molly Weasley. Molly was delighted that her family grew, as she became the grandmother of 12 grandchildren.
God damn.
7 granddaughters, one of which had her namesake, and 5 grandsons, all of whom she adored. Charlie Weasley. Unlike his other siblings, Charlie never married or had kids. He was more interested.
Charlie's the one that was in Romania dealing with the dragons that whole time, right?
Interested in studying dragons in Romania than in forming a romantic attachment. However, he did.
Also, all of the Weasleys just have a jawline that was cut from stone.
Did love his nieces and nephews, and they all adored him as well. Bill Weasley. Having married Fleur in the Deathly Hallows, they started a family after the war, having 3 kids.
I'm so glad that they were able to make it through, man, because like in the Deathly Hallows Part 1, they start out with their wedding and it just gets fucking trashed.
2 daughters named Victoire and Dominique, and a son named Luis. He also continued his Cursebreaker work for Gringotts and occasionally went to Egypt, but tried not to too often so he could be home at Shell Cottage with his family. Fleur Delacour. As I just said, Fleur had 3 kids with Bill, and they all inherited her family's Vila side.
Fleur Delacour is the lady from Beauxbaton's Academy that was part of the Goblet of Fire Triwizard Tournament when Harry was in it. She was the girl from the girl in the blue dress.
Vilas being a magical species whose good looks are
is interesting. I did not know that. Holy crap. Okay, cool.
Irresistibly attractive. Although, considering the fact that Fleur herself was only a quarter Vila, there wasn't much there. But Luis is the only known male in the series with Vila in his blood. Fleur was also granted medals of honor from the French Ministry of Magic for her part in the war.
Oh, cool, man. Fuck yeah. She's also the one that Ron screamed at trying to ask her to the dance.
Rubius Hagrid. Hagrid continued to be the gamekeeper and care of magical creatures professor at Hogwarts, and later he took on the duty of bringing Muggle-born students their Hogwarts acceptance letters as McGonagall, whose job this used to be, was now headmaster. By 2017, an 89-year-old Hagrid still worked at Hogwarts, and he invited the then first-year boy Albus Potter, the son of Harry and Ginny, down to his hut for tea, just as he had done for Harry in his first year. Minerva McGonagall. Following the Battle of Hogwarts, McGonagall was awarded Order of Merlin First.
She is probably one of my favorite witches in this entire series, specifically because of the spell she's about to do. She makes all of the statues around Hogwarts come to life, and they all draw swords like medieval knights and prepare to defend the castle. It's fucking awesome.
Class, and she was featured on her own chocolate frog card. McGonagall was then unanimously chosen to be the headmistress of Hogwarts. In her first year as headmistress, she accepted those students who had not had a full year of school due to the war, allowing people like Hermione Granger and Dean Thomas to complete their final year of Hogwarts, both of whom had been on the run for the entire previous year.
Listen, they do not need to go back and finish a goddamn thing. They have nothing left to learn.
Minerva was vital in taking Hogwarts to its next.
And honestly, I think she probably understood that and said, listen, if you want to come back, go for it. We'll let you walk across the stage and do a thing, but, like, you don't need to.
Stage, free of the
They will also hire you at the Ministry.
defense against the Dark Arts Professor curse, bringing in brilliant new professors like Neville Longbottom, and honoring those they lost every year on the anniversary of the Battle of Hogwarts. Dolores.
Good fucking shit. I'm so glad she was able to take over Albus's position the way that she needed to. I hope this lady ended up in hell, or at least whenever she got dragged off by all the centaurs, she got it deep the way that she desperately needs. And I hope that she was spit roasted, bro.
Umbridge. Following Voldemort's fall, Kingsley ensured that Umbridge paid for her crimes
What the fuck is that around her? Jesus Christ.
against the innocent Muggleborns she sent to Azkaban with the Dementors, and she herself was arrested, tried, and convicted to a life sentence in Azkaban. However, considering the fact that Kingsley took the Dementors from the prison, it wasn't nearly as bad of a punishment as she gave to all of those innocent Muggleborns.
That's fair. We should kick her off the roof.
Newt Scamander.
Ooh, okay, alright. What did he do? Because we know he had a grandkid that married Luna.
Newt is the only Fantastic Beasts character on this list, but I wanted to add him because his story after the prequels is really interesting. Newt ended up marrying Tina, and together they had a baby who would later give
he married an American.
Newt and Tina a grandchild named Ralph, who I already mentioned married
Luna, and they're both equally crazy, apparently.
Luna. Newt was responsible for the inception of the werewolf register, making all werewolves register with the Ministry so they could keep tabs on them. He created the ban of experimental breeding, stopping things like basilisks and acromantula from being bred, which Newt personally said was his greatest achievement in life. Newt also worked extensively with the Dragon Research Restraint Bureau, which led him all around the world, allowing him to gather more information for new editions of Fantastic Beasts and where to find them.
I don't remember what that bird was called, but I remember it was like a storm bird, or it was like a thunder bird or something like that, right? Which there is like a myth that it actually existed, which is a whole different thing.
Newt was later awarded Order of Merlin Second Class for his services to
like I said, Order of Merlin, baby.
Zoology, and he also got his own chocolate frog card.
Goddamn right he did.
In 2017, the classified documents...
He's also the only one... So here's the thing. In the first Fantastic Beasts movie, Grindelwald was in like a disguise, going up against the entirety of what would be considered the American Ministry at that point, and he was fucking winning. Okay, they were all throwing those spells at him like they do in wizard fights, and he was winning until Newt decided to throw a creature at him that wrapped his ass up. So Newt was the only one to actually successfully capture Gellert Grindelwald. Now, he got away after that, but not the point. Nobody else was able to do it, and they were all there trying.
About his involvement in the events during the Fantastic Beasts films started to leak, so Newt got ahead of the curve and wrote a book discussing everything, saying he had been the first wizard to ever capture Grindelwald, and admitted that he played an active...
Yeah, he fucking was. Look at that shit. Also, Grindelwald, they should have left Johnny Depp as the only Grindelwald. That's all I'm saying.
...role in defeating...
I don't care about the controversy that was happening when they were trying to film this. They should have left Johnny Depp as the only Grindelwald. He's the best one that I've seen, and it looks awesome.
...him over the next few decades. Lucius Malfoy. Though Lucius was an active Death Eater in both the First and Second Wizarding War, his abandonment of Voldemort during the Battle of Hogwarts kept him out of Azkaban. He went on to help the Ministry capture the remaining Death Eaters by giving them inside information, but his involvement with Voldemort led to Lucius and the entire Malfoy family lose their prized and precious reputation, which they had built up for many generations. As I said earlier,
yeah, now Malfoy's trying his best to rebuild it by not being an asshole.
His son Draco eventually married Astoria Greengrass, and though she was pureblood, her views on blood purity made Lucius think of her as a rather disappointing daughter-in-law. Despite
like we give a shit what this fucking racist asshole thinks.
This, he constantly nagged her for a grandson to continue on his family name, which he eventually got with his grandson Scorpius Malfoy.
Also, coincidentally, Lucius also plays Legolas's dad in Lord of the Rings: The Hobbit, who also happens to be another racist asshole.
Narcissa Malfoy. Narcissa also avoided going to Azkaban, but not because of her
Narcissa was only there because she cared about her son. I do not believe that she gave a single fuck about Lord Voldemort's plan at all. She was there because her son was part of it, and she was trying to look after and protect him.
desertion like Draco and
She, say what you want about her, she is a good mother.
Lucius, but rather because she saved Harry's life, telling Voldemort he was dead when he really wasn't. This act might have also made the punishments of her husband and son lessen as well. At first, Narcissa was ecstatic to have a pure-blood daughter-in-law, but like Lucius, she quickly became disappointed as they realized their views on blood purity did not align.
Yeah, well, it does not matter, does it?
Narcissa
Because you're dead.
was very happy that Astoria gave her a grandson, though. Rita Skeeter. Following the Battle of Hogwarts, Rita continued on.
I feel like she would have just continued doing her whole, like, Daily Prophet, like, journalist thing, right? Like, she's been doing it for a while, apparently.
Her biography kick following the life and lives of Albus Dumbledore, and she wrote a biography about Harry Potter, only a quarter of which was true, as well as one about Severus Snape entitled Snape, Scoundrel
I hope that the one about Snape was also only a quarter true.
or Saint. Rita covered the 2014 Quidditch World Cup, and she caused nothing but trouble, as one of her articles led to two managers fighting after the match.
Oh, it's just Big News Morgan in the fucking Harry Potter. The truth is whatever the hell I say it is.
She also shamelessly used this opportunity to promote her upcoming book about Dumbledore's army, and she ragged on many members in the article, such as Harry, Ron, Hermione, Ginny, Fred, George, and many more.
Okay, alright, hold on. I'm gonna try and see. No, I guess the chick that Neville married, I guess, is not in this photo.
During the finals, she reported the match alongside Ginny, and Ginny made many corrections as Rita made crazy, untrue statements about her friends and family, and by the time
She's just trying to jazz it up so people actually care. You know what I mean, Jenny? I mean, come
the
on.
match was over, Rita was taken unaccountably
But also, if this is book Jenny, then she's being incredibly sarcastic and smart-mouthed, and probably funny enough for you to just write the truth.
ill, the cause of which was suspiciously Ginny's favorite hex. Rita wrote her final book in 2017, this time about Newt, called Man or Monster, The Truth About Newt Scamander.
Ooh.
And like all of her other books, most of it was rubbish. One claim even stated that Newt broke the American minister's heart in 1926, which was when the first Fantastic Beasts film took place. But in his own book, Newt revealed that Rita had completely made this up. Oliver Wood. As we found out in the fourth book, following his graduation from Hogwarts, Oliver became the keeper for Puddlemere United's reserve team.
Oh, yeah, because he only ever gave a shit about Quidditch, right? So he's probably just off doing that.
And in the final book, he participated in the Battle of Hogwarts. Following the fight, Oliver helped move the bodies of
I did not realize that Oliver was also part of the Battle of Hogwarts. That's
the
crazy.
fallen, and eventually went back to his small-time Quidditch career. Gilderoy Lockhart. The fifth book
This dude ended up in just like an insane asylum, right?
told us how Lockhart had permanently lost his memory and had to spend the rest of his life in St. Mungo's Hospital. He had someone help write his final book entitled Who Am I? Most of the public did not know that he was a fraud, many still believing that he accomplished all the
And since he lost all of his memories, he has plausible deniability. Wow, I did all this cool stuff.
things he took credit for. Because of this, he still received lots of fan mail, but he had no idea why. He did continue to sign autographs that he would send back to fans though. Over time, he would get some of his memory back, which was evidenced by him remembering a signature, but he never fully recovered. Fortunately, however, he was known to be happier that way. Cho Chang. After helping in the Battle of
okay, so she
Hogwarts,
married
Cho went
Muggle.
on to marry a Muggle man, who, just to be clear, was not Dudley. Again, that's just
Would have been awesome, though. I'm just saying. Dudley, Big D pulling the biggest fucking... pulling the best-looking girl at Hogwarts?
a fan theory. It was stated that Cho had a happy marriage and lived out a fulfilled life.
Great. This sounds like some CCP propaganda, though, right? Like, she married a Muggle, she had a family, and lived a wonderful life. Next question. Oh my God, what did you do to this poor lady?
Victor Crumb.
Oh, okay.
Victor Crumb actually has a really interesting story following the
Isn't he just like a professional Quidditch player? Like, that's it, right?
series. He continued his Quidditch career into
Yeah.
the 2000s, and after 8 years in the league, he made it to the Quidditch World Cup again. But unfortunately, he was just narrowly beaten to the snitch by the other seeker, losing his second World Cup.
Yeah, because the Irish lost that one.
After the loss, a tearful Crumb announced his retirement. After 12 years, though, he returned to the game for the 2014 season. When asked by the press why he's
this is the one that Jenny and Rita Skeeter were there, like, commentating on.
coming back, he said, "To win the World Cup before I die." They ended up making it to the World Cup, and during the match, the very old Crumb caught the snitch, finally securing a victory. He held the snitch up proudly, crying of happiness.
He's just the Russian guy. Hold on, where's it at?
The very old Crumb caught the snitch, finally securing a victory. He held the
He's just the Russian dude in the memes where he's like at the end with the third place medal on, and he's just fucking partying, like popping champagne, and he's in fucking 15th place, you know?
snitch up proudly, crying of happiness. Gregory Goyle. Goyle survived the Battle of Hogwarts, although in the film he did not, but we're going by the books, and in the books it was Crabbe who died, not Goyle. Following the battle, his longtime friendship with Draco had ended, and he no longer looked up to the idol he had followed for the last 7 years.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know why you ever even really looked up to him in the first place, because well, he was kind of a bitch throughout all of the books. Like, he had a smart mouth, but as soon as shit got real, he was a pussy.
Pansy Parkinson.
Who is
Pansy,
that?
who had once adored Draco, having a major crush on him,
I have no idea who that is.
severed ties with Malfoy after his family lost all notoriety.
I think we're getting to the part where I'm not going to know the characters anymore because they're not in the movies.
Dean Thomas.
Okay, I know
After
Dean.
spending what was supposed to be his 7th year of Hogwarts on the run, Dean returned to Hogwarts the following year to finish out his schooling.
Good for him.
Seamus Finnegan.
I know
Like his
Seamus.
best friend Dean, Seamus decided
He's the one that blew up the bridge.
to redo his 7th year at Hogwarts. He had been at school for the entire year, but he spent the majority of it hiding in the room of requirement. Barty Crouch Jr. Barty
I really like this actor. He used to be Doctor Who. He was Crowley in, like, I don't remember the fucking name of the show. But he's a super good actor, and I really like him.
Jr. got a fate worse than death, as he received the Dementor's kiss at the end of the Goblet of Fire, which was actually an accident caused by Fudge. Crouch was sent back to Azkaban, though this did not mean much, as his mind was completely gone. Voldemort didn't even think it was worth it to break him out during the events of the Order of the Phoenix or the Deathly Hallows, meaning Barty Jr. spent the rest of his life in his cell. Teddy
Yeah, but he got to hang out with Dolores Umbridge when she showed up.
Lupin. Teddy, the son of Nymphadora and Remus Lupin, was raised by his maternal grandmother Andromeda Tonks after his parents
Also, we're more than halfway through this video, and you've still got like 50 characters, bro. You better get moving.
died in the Battle of Hogwarts when he was just a baby. His godfather Harry was there for him as well and played a big part in raising him. So much so that both sides of his family, the Potters and the Weasleys, considered Teddy to be part of their family. Luckily, Teddy did not possess any werewolf tendencies, which his father was terrified he would pass down to his son.
Good.
However, he did inherit his mother's metamorph mage's powers, meaning he could change his appearance at will. When Teddy went to Hogwarts, he was sorted into Hufflepuff just like his mother. He eventually started dating Victoire Weasley, Bill and Fleur's daughter, and they were caught kissing both at the 2014 Quidditch World Cup and on Platform 9 3/4 during the epilogue. The year that the epilogue took place, Teddy was going into his 7th and final year, and he was head boy, showing that he was a very smart and respectable student at Hogwarts.
Good. I'm so glad, because it shows that, like, even the background-ish characters still had families, and, like, their lines continued, even if they were, unfortunately, like, passed away in the Battle of Hogwarts.
Andromeda Tonks. Following the war,
Okay, Andromeda Tonks is Tonks' mother, who is Sirius's cousin.
Andromeda had lost so much. Her husband Ted Tonks, her daughter Nymphadora,
Yeah.
and her son-in-law Remus Lupin. Luckily though,
Yeah.
she still had her grandson Teddy, who she raised with the help of Harry
I didn't realize Andromeda was still alive. Wow.
and his family. Creature.
Fuck what Creature had to think. I don't care.
After having a redemption arc and leading all of the
God damn it, he had a redemption arc?
house elves into the Battle of Hogwarts, Creature continued to work in the Hogwarts kitchens, though he was still technically owned by Harry, whom he
Owned by Harry because Harry was the godson, technically Sirius's son, when Sirius passed away, making the entire Black family fortune Harry's. So he's double rich now? Fuck me, man.
had grown great respect for. Creature eventually passed away in 2017 at the age of 666.
Okay, alright, okay.
And looking at 666, I'm sure Rowling did that on purpose.
I'm sure she did.
Electo Caro.
Who the
Electo
fuck is that?
did not participate in the Battle of Hogwarts, as Harry and McGonagall tied her and her brother up in the Ravenclaw common room before the battle even started.
Huh?
And once the fight was over, she was taken to Azkaban for torturing innocent students.
Huh? A Ravenclaw over here torturing students.
Amicus Caro. Like his sister, Amicus did not participate in the battle
Okay, alright. Fuck.
because Hitsu was tied up before it started, and following the battle, Hitsu was sentenced to life in Azkaban. Phileas Flitwick.
Okay.
Following the final battle, Flitwick continued on teaching charms at Hogwarts, and he continued to
And also directing the choir and band, that is very important.
be the
Double, double, cauldron bubble.
Ravenclaw's head of house for many years to come. Grop. We just recently
Oh, he's just hanging out. He's doing his own thing. He gets his own food and all.
found out what happened to Grop after the Battle of Hogwarts. As many suspected, the giant did in fact stay at Hogwarts, living in the Forbidden
I'm sure he
Forest
did.
and in the caves in the mountains that surrounded
Well, and Hagrid's still allowed to be there, right? So, like, Hagrid can still keep him company.
Hogwarts and Hogsmeade. Aberforth Dumbledore.
That's Dumbledore's, brother, buddy. Hell yeah.
Following the battle, Aberforth celebrated their victory with Dean Thomas and Seamus Finnegan, as he had grown very close to Seamus that year with the tunnel that led to his pub. And speaking of his pub, the Hog's Head, Aberforth continued to run it until his eventual death. Fenrir Greyback.
Ooh,
Though
shit.
Greyback was not
So that's one of the Death Eaters, right?
a Death Eater himself, he spread violence for the Death Eaters and Voldemort's gain.
No, he wasn't a Death Eater, but he was one of the Dark Lord's servants that, like, spread fucking chaos and violence and shit. Why does he look like, Sabretooth from X-Men?
And he was sentenced to life in Azkaban for
Will we explain that? Like, I wonder.
killing, eating, and turning innocent children into werewolves.
Okay, so killing, eating, and turning innocent children into werewolves. Is he a werewolf? Is he, like, always in his hybrid form? What is this?
Horace Slughorn.
Okay.
Slughorn continued to teach at Hogwarts after the war, and he carried on as the head of Slytherin House.
Head of Slytherin House. Apparently Slughorn was a Slytherin.
But in 2016, he officially retired, and he had the honor of having a portrait of himself hung in the Slytherin common room. Xenophilius Lovegood. During the events of the
Okay.
Deathly Hallows, Xenophilius was sent to Azkaban, and luckily for him, the Quibbler magazine he was going to publish that slandered Harry and built up Voldemort was never released, meaning he was remembered as someone who always supported Harry through and through, though Harry, Ron, and Hermione of course knew the truth. Following the good side's victory, Xenophilius was released and reunited with his daughter Luna, which was really all he wanted. Luna would eventually make Xenophilius a grandfather to her
Well, good. And I'm wondering if he just, like, sat home and made dream catchers or something all the time.
twin boys Lorcan and Lysander. Angelina Johnson.
Yeah, she ended up marrying George, which we know, but that's about it.
Angelina was devastated about Fred's death, as she
Yeah.
had dated Fred for a number of years.
Yeah, and they went to the dance together.
Following his death, she grew closer with Fred's twin, George Weasley, and they eventually started dating, then got married, and they had 2 children together, one of which was named after Fred. Years later,
Aww.
Angelina had to care for her sick
Joke's on us, it's the girl that was named after Fred.
father. Meanwhile, George and the kids went to the 2014 Quidditch World Cup, and Rita Skeeter reported that Angelina was not there because she had grown restless in her marriage with George.
You shut your whore mouth, Rita.
However, Angelina's sister-in-law Ginny, who was also reporting on this match, shut down these rumors right away,
Yeah, look, Jenny will slap the shit out of you.
telling everyone the truth of how Angelina was caring for her sick father, which made Rita look very stupid. Lee Jordan. Lee was of course
Who?
heartbroken over Fred's death as well, and he was there for George in his time of
I don't know who this is. Lee Jordan, is that it? Does Hogwarts have a basketball team? What is this?
need, even helping him run his joke shop for a while. Mundungus Fletcher. Mundungus did not help in
Who?
the Battle of Hogwarts, as he went into hiding after his encounter
Oh,
with the
this
trio.
guy.
Once the war was over, he came out of hiding and returned to his life of dealing, scamming, and committing crimes to make money.
That's fair.
Cornelius Fudge.
Oh, he's
the people
retired, right?
forced Fudge out of office, and Fudge himself said that he had never seen the wizarding community be so united on any other decision during his administration.
Listen, you used your fascist dictator powers to propagandize the entire wizarding community into believing that a threat did not exist where there was very clearly a very real threat. Yeah, I'm sure they were pissed off at you. It's the reason why the U.S. Citizenry is super pissed off at the U.S. government the majority of the time.
Just as Dumbledore had predicted, Fudge became one of the least effective ministers in history. To quote Dumbledore, he became the man who stepped aside and allowed Voldemort a second chance to destroy what the wizarding community tried so hard to build. Fudge forever had to keep a low profile, as he would forever be one of the most despised people throughout all of the wizarding world. Walden McNair. After being launched and thrown against the wall by Hagrid during the final battle, something that was obviously fueled by McNair being the one who was meant to execute Buckbeak, his unconscious form awoke to the battle being over, his side having lost.
This was the executioner guy?
And he was sentenced to life in Azkaban for his crimes as a Death Eater. Argus Filch. Filch helped put the castle back together after the fight, and he continued his role as caretaker of the school, and he also continued his heated rivalry with Peeves the Poltergeist. Sybil Trelawney. Sybil continued to work at Hogwarts as the divination professor.
I wonder how many of the prophecies that are in the Ministry of Magic were actually done by Trelawney. Like, I wonder.
And she eventually went on to write a book entitled My Eyes and How to See Past Them, which was pretty successful, though this
good for her.
Was credited to her last name Trelawney, as she was related to a very famous and very respected seer back in the day named Cassandra Trelawney.
Named Cassandra Trelawney, also known as the Oracle of Delphi. I'm just kidding, I don't know if that's true or not.
Parvati Patil. Parvati returned to Hogwarts to redo her 7th and final year of schooling, but it wasn't quite the same without her best friend Lavender there.
Oh my god. Wait, Lavender died?
Who had died in the Battle of Hogwarts.
Yes!
Padma Patil. Padma also returned to redo her 7th year, but it was far more normal for her, as she was a Ravenclaw student and was not—
Fun fact, the Ravenclaw logo is a fucking eagle, not a raven, which is wild, but it's true.
Not as close to Lavender as her twin sister was. Pomona Sprout. Sprout continued as the head of Hufflepuff House and continued teaching herbology at Hogwarts. She was delighted to have Neville Longbottom, one of her favorite and best students, return, and she trained him to become a herbology professor as well. The two taught alongside each other until Sprout retired in 2020, and she had full confidence that Neville could be her successor. Garrick Ollivander.
I want to know what the hell happened to this dude, because I swear to God, he's been around since the beginning of time. Like, back in the olden days, in like the olden times, in the times of like Merlin and your Salazar Slytherins, your Godric Gryffindors, you know, like back in those times, they apparently did not have a wand maker or like a wand shop for you to go and buy wands from. You had to make that shit yourself. So you actually had to go out and get whatever core you wanted in your wand. You had to go out and get that yourself. So Salazar Slytherin, while he had a basilicorn in his wand, it's because he actually had to go out and fucking get one. So in this instance, if Tom Riddle or Voldemort or Harry Potter wanted to have a phoenix feather, then they had to go and find a phoenix and fucking pluck one of the feathers. Okay, so back then it was wild. So this dude had to bring order to that kind of chaos. And as far as I know, the Ollivanders bloodline has been one of the ones that's been doing it since the beginning. And I'm certain that it's this motherfucker that has been alive since the very beginning.
Returned to his wand shop after the war ended, and after fixing it up a bit, as it had been raided and empty for 2 years.
Since 382 BC, my guy.
He was back in business. Augustus Rookwood.
Like, literally, what did he do after the series? Oh, he just got back to work, that's all. Like, it's dude.
The Death Eater responsible for Fred's death in the final battle was later stunned by Aberforth Dumbledore, and following the battle, he was sentenced to life in Azkaban. Antonin Dolohov. Dolohov, the man who killed Remus Lupin, was later defeated by Flitwick, and he too was sentenced to life in Azkaban for his crimes as a Death Eater. Olympe Maxime.
That's a huge bitch.
Maxime continued as the headmistress of Beauxbaton, the French wizarding school. Her relationship with Hagrid unfortunately did not work out because, as she put it, she was too sophisticated for him. Pius Thicknesse. Pius Thicknesse was an interesting case for the Ministry following the war because he had acted as a Death Eater and was loyal to Voldemort while Minister of Magic, but he was under the Imperius Curse, meaning he did not know what he was doing. He was of course replaced by Kingsley, and Thicknesse was never seen as a true minister. Unfortunately for him, most of what he did, both good and bad, was wiped from the record. The Ministry did let him walk free though, which was the right decision.
Okay, fair.
Cormac McLaggen. Cormac was a year older than the trio,
oh, that guy. Right.
So he finished up at Hogwarts during the events of the Half-Blood Prince. However, he was seen in the movie going back for one final year, but he didn't appear in any of the 7th book. He had moved on from Hogwarts and did not return for the Battle of Hogwarts.
Nah, he's gone. He talks big and that's all.
Corbin Yaxley. At the very end of the battle, Yaxley was defeated in a duel against George Weasley and Leah Jordan in the Great Hall, and following Voldemort's death, he was sentenced to life in Azkaban, mainly for being a Death Eater, but also for helping Umbridge capture and sentence innocent Muggleborns. Katie Bell. Like Cormac, Katie Bell finished her final year during the events of the Half-Blood Prince, but again, the film had her return.
That's Katie. Okay, all right.
Returning as a student in the 7th installment. Unlike Cormac, though, Katie did
See, look at that. Harry chose Jenny over this. You kidding me right now?
return to Hogwarts for the final battle, which she knew to do because of her DA coin. Following the fight, she moved on with her life outside of school. Alicia Spinnet. Alicia actually graduated during the events of the Order of the Phoenix, but seeing her DA coin calling her, she too came back to Hogwarts. After the battle though, she too moved on with her life outside of school. Firenze. Having been banished by the other centaurs during the events of the Order of the Phoenix.
Why though? That doesn't make any sense, because so here during this is Sorcerer's Stone. This is the first fucking movie. And then the Order of the Phoenix is like number 5.
Firenze was delighted when his herd invited him back after the Battle of Hogwarts. They had originally banished him for teaching humans their ways as a divination professor, but the rest of the herd came to realize that
I didn't realize he was a professor at Hogwarts for a while.
Firenze's views on humans was not shameful, but rather was honorable. Firenze continued to teach at Hogwarts after the battle, but he now lived in the Forbidden Forest with the rest of his herd rather than in the castle. Fawkes. The night that Dumbledore died, Fawkes sang his Phoenix Lament, which was a form of song expressed by the magical birds, and the magic of his music touched the soul of everybody who heard it. When he was finished, Fawkes left Hogwarts and never returned, because now that his beloved owner was gone...
That's the Phoenix that was in Dumbledore's office. So now that Dumbledore's gone, Fawkes has no reason to be there anymore.
He became a wild phoenix.
Yep.
Buckbeak.
Damn.
After Sirius died,
I wish the Phoenix could show up to Harry's house and just hang out with him.
Buckbeak was left to Harry, who then decided to leave the Hippogriff with his original owner, Hagrid. Buckbeak lived out his days at Hogwarts as one of Hagrid's many pets. He spent most of his time in the Forbidden Forest, and he was occasionally used by Hagrid for care of magical creatures lessons. Winky. Winky, of course, fell into a depression and turned into an alcoholic after her master, Barty Sr. had been killed, and her other master, Barty Crouch Jr., the one responsible...
Is this another house elf that I don't know about? Damn, there's a lot of... Okay.
...for his father's death, was given the Dementor's kiss. Winky slowly improved over the years, though, as she worked in the Hogwarts kitchens and fought in the Battle of Hogwarts.
So I'm taking it that a lot of the house elves that were enslaved over the course of the series just ended up either getting freed when Hermione did her thing with the Ministry, or just started working in the kitchens of Hogwarts, which, fair enough, but why do they even need kitchens? Because I'm fairly certain they can wave their hand and create food.
After the fight, she got control of her drinking habits, though she still had a few drinks here and there, and she continued to work in the Hogwarts kitchens. Arabella Figg. Mrs. Figg was of course a squib.
Okay, she's another squib like Filch, right?
Meaning she was born from magical parents, but had no...
See, we already covered the 6 levels of, like, magical people in Harry Potter. Now, I know for a fact that video has not come out right now, at least during the time of me doing the stream. By the time this video does come out on YouTube, though, I hope you guys have seen that already, because I already know about this. And if you don't know about this, then you're falling behind. So definitely go and watch that video and subscribe while you're doing it. Thank you. YouTube tells me that like 75% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed, and that is not cool. So do that. Do the thing. Hit the little button by the name, right? Like you can do it. I believe in you. I'll wait. Okay, now we're good.
No magical ability herself. However, she did breed part Kneaselcats, a kind of magical creature, and following the war, which she was unable to fight in for obvious reasons, she continued to breed her part Kneaselcats. Blaise Zabini. Unlike in the film, Blaise did not fight in the Battle of Hogwarts. He actually left with the other Slytherin students through the Hog's Head passageway. Though again, the movie changed this.
All the Slytherins said, listen, we're getting the fuck up out of here. I don't care at all who wins.
As the Slytherin...
Honestly, calculated progression, that's all I'm saying.
...didn't escape, but were sent to the dungeons.
Exactly where is it I'll be leading them to, Mom?
The dungeons would do.
Because he did not fight in the battle though, nor did he associate with any illegal activity, he did not receive a punishment. Stan Shunpike. After Stan tried to show off in a pub saying he had inside information of the Death Eater's plans, which he really didn't.
He did not. He's on board the night bus, and that is all he does.
The Ministry got word of this and sent him to Azkaban. Once there
Wow, what a dick. Wait, oh, you can't just do that. Why are you throwing him in Azkaban?
was a breakout, Stan was put under the Imperius Curse, and he operated among the Death Eaters, most notably being part of the Battle of Seven Potters. After Voldemort fell...
Oh, shit. That's That's terrible.
However, the Imperius curse was lifted, and though he was originally sentenced, he was allowed to walk free. Zachariah Smith. Though Smith was a member of Dumbledore's army, he did not help in the Battle of Hogwarts, opting to instead leave the school. He was even seen pushing first-year students out of the way to get out faster. Reginald Cattermole. Reginald, along with his wife and kids, were able to escape Voldemort and his Death Eaters thanks to the trio telling them to do so.
Get the kids. I'll meet you there. We have to get out the country, understand?
Mafalda Hopkirk.
Good fucking job, Ron.
After being replaced by Hermione Granger, Hopkirk returned very confused, but afterwards she went back to her normal job at the Ministry. Albert Runcorn. Having helped Umbridge with their Muggleborn Registration Act and just being overall corrupt, Runcorn was sentenced to time in Azkaban, though he was released after a while.
That's fair.
Unlike Umbridge and most Death Eaters. Ludo Bagman.
Hold on. This guy's wearing a bee suit. What is happening here?
Following the Triwizard Tournament where he tried to gamble with some goblins and lost, he went on the run, abandoning his post as head of magical games and sports in the Ministry. And after that, he was sort of forgotten. That is, until a rumor popped up that an old retired Quidditch star would take the pitch again in 2014. But this of course ended up being Crumb and not Bagman. Amos Diggory.
Okay, so after Cedric died, I assume he just dropped off the planet, right? Because there's no way he kept his job at the Ministry.
Amos never truly got over the loss of his son Cedric, despite his killers being dead themselves, as both Voldemort and Wormtail died. He eventually ended up living in St. Oswald's home for old witches and wizards. The very old Amos eventually scheduled a meeting with Harry, and here one of the few good lines in the stage play was brought up. How many people have died for the boy who lived? Which was of course referencing his son.
Damn, that hits hard, bro. Fuck. And you gotta think, Harry probably blames himself for all of this anyway, so the fact that dude, I mean, look, somebody had to say it, right?
Cedric, who he believed died to save Harry.
He not really, but yeah, kind of.
Then asked Harry to use a time turner so he could bring Cedric back to life. And it's absolutely wild that this plot point is considered canon. But
I don't understand. Look, man, how many turns you gonna need on that time? It was 3 to go back like 12 hours. So how many? This is years, bro.
Anyway, when
like 20 years probably.
Looking at Amos, he had a very sad life after his son died. Marge Dursley. After being blown up,
they deflated her, they wiped her memory and she was good, right?
Marge was deflated, brought back down, and had her memory wiped by the Ministry, meaning she had no memory of the event.
By the way, they don't send people to Azkaban for this, but you used a Patronus charm to save a Muggle from some Dementors and you're fucking expelled.
From that night. Although she didn't have that memory though, the Dursleys did, and after that, they never again invited Marge to stay with them while Harry was there. Marietta Edgecombe.
No reason Harry had to go back ever after the first movie. You cannot convince me otherwise. I don't care at all what your reason is. There is no reason that Harry had to be there after he got accepted into Hogwarts for the first time. There are a million teachers that work at that school that could have adopted him. There are people that are like his friends, for example. Let's say we still want to keep him out of the Wizarding world. Fine, he can go live with Hermione and her parents. There's no reason her parents couldn't fucking adopt him. There's no reason Molly and Arthur, the Weasley parents, could not have adopted him either. I'm just saying.
After Marietta
in another world, the Malfoys could have adopted him.
Betrayed the DA, it sparked Hermione's jinx, making the word sneak be written on her face in pimples. So the question is, did she ever get this removed from her face after the series ended? The answer is yes, sort of. The pimples eventually began to fade, but she would always have scars. Justin Finch Fletchley. After having to pull out of school,
he was another mudblood, I believe, because that's what he said to Harry.
For his final year at Hogwarts due to him being a Muggleborn, Justin was able to return to his schooling the following year, joining Hermione, Dean, Seamus, and so many more. Rolanda Hooch. Madam Hooch returned to her post as the flying instructor and put.
She was only the flying instructor for like one movie anyway, as far as I'm aware. I don't remember seeing her at all in any of the other movies.
Its referee, and she continued to do so for 18 years after the series ended, until finally in 2020, she retired at the age of 102. Augusta Longbottom. Having been disappointed in the way
Oh, that's Neville's grandma.
Your grandson Neville turned out for most of the series, Augusta was thrilled when Neville came through a hero, and after helping him in the Battle of Hogwarts, she had never been prouder of her grandson.
Hell yeah, good for her, man. I'm so glad that Neville finally was able to make his grandma proud of him for the first time in his life.
She also lived long enough to meet her granddaughter-in-law, Hannah Abbott, and seeing Neville happy with her made
And Hannah owns the Leaky Cauldron, which is cool.
her happy. Ernie Macmillan. Like so many others in their year at Hogwarts, Ernie returned for another year of school after helping fight in the Battle of Hogwarts.
Watching him talk like that looks weird.
Poppy Pomfrey. Madame Pomfrey
Madame Pumphrey, she's the nurse, right?
helped
Yeah.
patch everyone up after the battle was over, which was a huge task considering how brutal the
And that's Skelligro, which is, I'm pretty sure, a potion that the Potters created.
battle had been. And moving forward, she continued to be the nurse at Hogwarts. Around 2014 though, she retired and handed her position over to Hannah Abbott, or Hannah Longbottom, the wife of her biology professor.
Okay, so wait, she owns the Leaky Cauldron. He is a teacher and head of Gryffindor House, and she also is the nurse there?
Neville Longbottom. Thorfinn Rao.
Alright.
Rao was arrested following the final battle, and like so many other Death Eaters, he was sentenced to life in Azkaban. Crookshanks.
Crookshanks. I'm upset that Crookshanks did not have a more vital role in the movies, but I do understand how difficult it is to get that to happen. Because the only reason the Sirius was able to go into Hogwarts the way that he did is because Crookshanks was helping him, and they don't really tell you that in the movies.
Crookshanks stayed with the Weasleys while Hermione was on the run with Harry and Ron, and once the battle was over, he was reunited with Hermione. Crookshanks lived many more years, possibly even until 2021, meaning he was there while Hugo and Rose, Ron and Hermione's kids, grew up.
Yay!
Peeves. After the battle
Who?
of Hogwarts, Peeves sang a victory song.
Peeves.
And moving forward, he continued to torment the students and staff in the years to come,
Who is Peeves?
especially Argus Filch, who even years later still had not caught Peeves enough to get him kicked out of the castle. And there it is, what happened to all 90 characters after the series ended. Let me know your thoughts.
I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on Peeves, because I don't know who the hell that is, but he looks like Mr. Mix-It, or like the Game Master from Doctor Who, right? I don't know who that is, but I definitely
In the comments below. Did anyone's fate surprise you?
I definitely want to learn who that is, though, like for real. God, that seems so awesome. There's still so much about this series I don't know, and I've seen all the movies a million times. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, that's the video. All of my links will definitely be in the description. I recently changed my handle on YouTube. It used to be Cestal-G2D. I just changed it to now Cestal_the_elf, right? So because I'm an elf, it's going to be Cestal the Elf, and I don't want to hear any more cringy jokes about me being the second coming. Don't know who was saying that. Definitely wasn't me. Anyway, all the links will be in my description. Definitely check out my videos. Definitely don't watch my videos unless you're subscribed, because that's not cool. Alright, I will see you guys in a couple of days for the midweek stream on Wednesday. Alright, bye guys, bye.